What is a fact that can possibly save your life? This obviously won't work all the time. But if someone grabs you by the arm, don't pull away. Twist your arm instead. Your arm goes nearly all directions but the wrist won't. When having a heart attack, you don't swallow aspirin, you chew it. Do not delay getting out of a burning building. The flames are not what will kill you. The smoke will get very thick and toxic very quickly, and you will not be able to see the way to get out. Maybe not your life, but someone else's. Most drowning is silent. The victim quite literally cannot speak to call for help, as they are too desperately trying to get any air at all. Drowning can look simply like a person bobbing in the water until they no longer come back up. Keep a watch out, especially if it's kids. If you ever almost drown to the point of throwing up water or passing out, even if you feel 100% fine, get to a hospital. Your lungs can unwittingly fill up with fluid over the next few hours. This is a New Zealand specific one, but all emergency numbers work here. The official number is 111, but 999, 000, 911, etc. will all work. This is so that tourists can still reach emergency services easily. Soy sauce is deadly if consumed in large quantities at once. So no stupid soy sauce dares or challenges please. If you're being tied up, puff yourself out as much as possible so it'll be easier to wiggle out of tense muscles. Inhale deep and stretch out your arms and legs to make more space. If you get impaled or stabbed, leave the object in and call 911 or your country's equal. That object is keeping all the blood on the inside of your body. If you smell a fish smell in your house, some people also report a urine-like smell for no reason. 9 times out of 10 it means there's an electrical fire. If you are ever buried in rubble, earthquake, tornado, building collapse etc., don't shout. You'll lose your voice and waste energy. Instead, grab a piece of rubble and knock in patterns of 3s. Humans are expert pattern makers and pattern noticers. Rescuers will hear the distinctive pattern sound and go toward it. Once you can hear people, then use your voice. Edit. Cite my source. I learned this from the podcast The Big One. It's about how to realistically survive a massive earthquake day by day with certain scenarios. Maybe not your life but possibly others. In an emergency situation, pick one person to specifically call 911. In lots of stressful or emergency situations there are significant delays in calling 911. Some people assume that others will call 911 while others panic, freeze up and don't think to call 911. If you're faced with a situation where 911 is necessary, pick a specific person to contact 911. If someone is in trouble and you want to leap in to save them, make sure you have a way to get out yourself. I recently saw a video of a drowning man. Another man jumped in to try and save him. Instead both drowned. If the ocean is retreating, there is a tsunami coming. Evacuate the beach immediately. If you get kidnapped, try to leave as much traces of yourself behind as you can. For example, leave bits of clothing behind, or scratch your arms a lot to leave dead skin behind. This way you increase your chances that a search dog could pick up your scent and find you. If you're visiting an unfamiliar location like a cinema or concert hall, take a few moments to look around for the nearest exit. Then pick out a second as a backup in case the first becomes blocked or cut off. If something happens, especially in a crowded public place, most people's first instincts are to turn around and head for the main entrance, but this is not always the closest, safest or easiest way out. 9 times out of 10 there will usually be a closer exit. Airplane pressure rises and the masks drop. Put your damn mask on first, as instructed. At 35,000 feet you have 60 seconds of useful consciousness. Make it count. If a tornado looks like it isn't moving, it's heading right towards you. Not for yourself, but someone else. First aid in general is not meant to be the only form of aid a person receives. If you give someone CPR, or use a defibrillator on them, or they have a severe allergic reaction requiring an EpiPen, you should still call emergency services immediately. These are just temporary measures to buy time until a medical professional can treat them more thoroughly. Similarly, chewing aspirin for a suspected heart attack still requires emergency services to treat the issue or rule out complications. There are no rules. If a stranger puts their hands on you, yell, scream bloody murder, kick, bite, make the biggest scene you possibly can, and run away as fast as you can. Make sure your kids understand that this is the exception. The time they must draw as much attention as possible and do anything it takes to get away and get help. Never ever place an extension ladder on a smooth concrete floor and climb it unless the feet have rubber pads attached to them. Otherwise there is a very real risk that as you climb higher, your weight will cause the feet to slide out from under you because there is very little friction between aluminum and smooth finished concrete. I've climbed ladders countless times, and then one day I did this and it almost killed me. Shattered my wrist and almost broke my back. Life forever altered. If you have an ice breakthrough in a pond or lake, do not use your upper body to pull yourself out. Place your chest against the edge and only kick as fast as you can to get yourself over the hump. The water splashing around you overflows in most cases and the continued kicking propels you, and you slide on your ribs and belly. Push yourself. Don't pull yourself. Double check advices in this thread with your own research. I read somewhere, if a stranger gets in your car and tells you to take them somewhere, drive into something like a lamppost or anything, you won't be useful to them anymore because the car is damaged and you've drawn attention to them by crashing the car. You'll damage your car, but you'll have your life and your bank account. Someone at my college did this a few years ago. The guy told him to drive to the bank and withdraw all his money, so he drove into a lamppost and saved himself. Do not inflate your life jacket before exiting the aircraft. This is especially true in case of emergency water landings. As any air safety expert would tell you, inflating your life jacket inside a rapidly submerging airplane will cause you to float up to the cabin ceiling, unable to move without help. The right thing to do is to take a deep breath and swim out of the airplane with your life jacket still deflated. Only when you're safely out of the plane should you pull the inflation cord. Never pull out a gun or any weapon unless you are prepared to kill or die. Weapons escalate the situation to another level. If you have a weapon, intend to use it and risk having it used on you. Not life-saving but FKN useful. If you have a splinter and can't get it out, cut off a tiny piece of new soap, put over where it is and put plaster, band-aid over it. Next morning peel off the plaster and whatever the splinter is stuck in the soap. If you drive over water frequently, keep a seatbelt cutter, window breaker in your car, just in case. If you've got a wound on you, even a bug bite, and see a red streak from it following one of your veins, you have blood poisoning. If you're lost in the wilderness and need something sharp to hunt, defend with, make a spear by hardening a soaked branch. Stick over a fire. The water prevents the stick from burning, but the heat from the fire forces the branch to condense and harden, making them more durable. All firearms are loaded. Even if they are not, they are. If you need to call 911 and you're too busy helping the victim, CPR, specifically point at someone and say you call 911 instead of somebody call 911. It snaps a person out of bystander's effect and they act. When you're in Australia, mostly on beaches, do not touch the tiny adorable octopus with blue rings. It's venomous and will usually kill you. In fact, don't touch any snakes or spiders or marine life. A lot of it is poisonous, venomous, or will kill you in other ways. Don't let this stop you from coming to Australia though. Most of the humans are pretty nice. Edit. Word mix up edit 2. Holy crap, my biggest comment is about not poking Australian animals. How to identify if you or someone else is having a stroke. Time is key, so you need to act F. A. T. Facial drooping. A section of the face, usually only on one side, that is drooping and hard to move. This can be recognized by a crooked smile, arm weakness, the inability to raise one's arm fully, speech difficulties, an inability or difficulty to understand or produce speech. Time. If any of the symptoms above are showing, time is of the essence. Call the emergency services or go to the hospital. Edit. Source with more information. If you have to perform CPR, you can follow the beat of Staying Alive by the Bee Gees or Another One Bites the Dust by Queen. If a girl you don't know suddenly adds you on Facebook and wants to see your stick, that's a scam. They'll blackmail you. If you call 911, even though you don't have signal, it will work. If you take antidepressants, don't take cough suppressants. Cough suppressants increase the amount of serotonin in your brain, which is what antidepressants do too. If you have too much serotonin, you can get what's called serotonin syndrome. The more medication you've taken, the worse it could be, and can possibly be fatal. It's not fun. Trust me, I had to learn all this the hard way. Oh, another. Women often experience heart attacks different than men. One of the most common symptoms is jaw pain. Shortness of breath and nausea also are common. Chest pain is still something to look for, but look for these other symptoms too. If stranded in the wilderness without food, do not eat mushrooms as a food source. 90% of them will kill you, or make you violently ill. And some species of poisonous mushrooms imitate or look nearly indistinguishable from edible ones. So unless you are a mycologist, the fungus are not fun. Guys in a survival situation. Panthers attack their prey from behind. If you encounter a wild panther, don't turn back. If you start feeling dizzy, nauseated, lightheaded, dull headache, go outside for 10 meters. Go back to the room you started feeling this. If it starts again, it is most likely carbon monoxide poisoning. Also, if someone has lost consciousness, get them the duck out of air. Never, ever, mix bleach and ammonia. The result of mixing them is chlorine, chloramine gas, acamustard gas. If you get caught in a current, don't swim towards the shore and instead swim parallel to it. Edit. People seem to be confused, but I should clarify that you swim parallel to the shore. If there's an earthquake, do not go down or up any stairs. They collapse. Before you head off to that wild party, go ahead and decide it up front whether you plan to drink or do other drugs, exclusive or, because most uppers will get people so high, or tripping or rolling, or whatever that they'll literally die of alcohol poisoning without noticing as they continue to drink. Alcohol also doesn't generally mix well with other varieties of drugs. Also, no, you can't drive. Get an Uber. Lava is very hot, don't touch it. If your diabetic friend starts acting like a drunk, stumbling around, talking nonsense and slurring, throwing up, their blood sugars could be dangerously low. Make them drink something sweet, sugary soda, juice, or just feed them plain sugar. Be aggressive, they might resist. If they pass out and can't swallow, rub honey or sugar on the insides of their cheeks. Also, if their breath smells really bad, their blood sugar is probably really high and at risk of ketosis. My stupid T1 ass has been saved many times by friends and my mom. 3 Edit. Just realized I read the question wrong. Don't eat 10,000 bananas at once, you'll die of the radiation.